In a world of planned chaos, a new kind of legitimate danger has just walked through the door. For a whole generation, the name Seagal meant one thing: untouchable, bone-crunching Hollywood action. It was a brand of beautiful violence, built on real martial arts, that made one man look like an entire army. But the next chapter of that story isn't being written on a movie set. It's being forged inside a wrestling ring. This is the story of how Steven Seagal's daughter, Arissa LeBrock, is fighting to build her own legend. But this isn't just about a famous last name. This is about high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a lifetime of martial arts, and a debut that was years in the making. It's a story about a shattered dream, a fall into a dark place, and an insane comeback that has the entire industry talking. What happens when the daughter of a martial arts icon walks away from a modeling career to chase a dream in the wild world of wrestling? You might think she'd get an easy road, a free pass. You'd be dead wrong. No one, not the fans, not the critics, and definitely not her opponents, was ready for what was coming. This is the untold journey of Arissa LeBrock, from Hollywood royalty to a professional wrestling warrior. To really get the earthquake of Arissa LeBrock's arrival, you have to appreciate the massive shadow she was born into. Her father is Steven Seagal, a man who wasn't just an actor, he was a global brand. A legit 7th Dan black belt in Aikido, Seagal was the first non-Japanese person to ever run an Aikido dojo in Japan. His entire persona was built on that intimidating, real-world skill. His name became a shortcut for a very specific, brutal, and effective style of combat. Her mother was Kelly LeBrock, the supermodel and actress who defined an era with roles that screamed strength, beauty, and confidence. Arissa grew up right in the middle of these two powerful legacies, the martial artist and the movie star. It's a background that hints at charisma and credibility, but in the world of pro wrestling, it also paints a giant target on your back. Wrestling is a land of dynasties, the Harts, the Rhodes, the Anoa'i family, but it's a kingdom that doesn't always welcome outsiders, especially those with a hint of Hollywood privilege. The question that followed her from the second she thought about stepping into the ring was a heavy one. Could she even survive? The pressure was huge. In wrestling, a famous last name can make you work twice as hard just to be seen as half as good. Fans are smart. They can spot a phony a mile away. They've seen celebrities try and fail, unable to handle the grueling punishment and the unique mindset of the sport. The initial buzz around Arissa was colored with that exact skepticism. She'd had a successful career as a plus-size model and was on the reality show Growing Up Supermodel, experiences that, to hardcore wrestling fans, didn't exactly scream ready for the ring. Was this just another celebrity kid looking for a new spotlight? Or was there something more? Was there fire behind all that smoke? The answer, it turned out, was way more complex and painful than anyone imagined. Before the carnage, there was promise. Armed with a real background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a fire to make her own name, Arissa LeBrock aimed for the top, WWE. The company, always looking for crossover stars with legit athletic skills, took notice. She was invited to a tryout at the WWE Performance Center, a multi-day high-intensity meat grinder designed to push the world's best athletes to their breaking point. For Arissa, this was it, her chance to prove she was more than a name, that her BJJ skills gave her the right to be there. The dream was right there. And then, in a flash, it all fell apart. While the exact details are private, the result was public and devastating. During or just after that brutal tryout in 2019, Arissa suffered a severe career-threatening injury. This wasn't a minor sprain, it was a total disaster that slammed the brakes on her wrestling ambitions. One minute, she was on the verge of a new life. The next, the dream was gone. The WWE contract was off the table, the buzz died down, and Arissa LeBrock just vanished from the wrestling world. What came next was a period of darkness and soul-crushing doubt. The physical pain was immense, but the mental damage was arguably worse. In her own incredibly honest words, Arissa later revealed how deep she'd fallen. "I realized that I had become comfortable in the darkest, worst place in my life," she said. "Think about that. It's one thing to land in a dark place after a setback. It's another to get comfortable there. It signals that you've started to give up." For years, it looked like the story of Arissa LeBrock, the pro wrestler, was over before it even started. It was going to be a forgotten what if, another footnote about an aspiring star chewed up and spit out by the business. The book had slammed shut. But in wrestling, the best stories are always about the comeback. A dream put on hold can either break you, or it can forge you into something stronger. For Arissa LeBrock, her time away from the ring became a full-on rebirth, and it all kicked off with a single, life-changing phone call. On the other end of the line was a voice that understood struggle, pressure, and the crushing weight of a famous last name. It was Dustin Rhodes. If you don't know Dustin Rhodes, he's not just some trainer, he's wrestling royalty. As the son of the legendary American Dream Dusty Rhodes, Dustin has spent a lifetime carving out his own iconic identity, from the bizarre and brilliant Goldust to a revered veteran coach. He knows all about wrestling in a famous father's shadow. He saw past the injury, past the Hollywood name, and saw an athlete with raw potential and a story that was far from finished. He offered her a second chance, not a shortcut, but a lifeline. He invited her to his Rhodes Wrestling Academy in Austin, Texas. For Arissa, that call was the shock she needed. She later said, "When I got the call from Dustin, I realized that I had become comfortable. It was time for me to give every ounce of passion within me to professional wrestling." She packed her bags, left her life in California, and went all in. The Rhodes Wrestling Academy is a world away from the polished WWE Performance Center. It's an old-school, gritty, sweat-soaked gym where you earn respect, you aren't given it. Here, Arissa LeBrock wasn't royalty. She was a rookie. She was broken down and rebuilt from the ground up. She worked with a personal trainer, strengthening her body to make sure the injury that ruined her first chance wouldn't define her second. Dustin drilled her on the fundamentals: how to take bumps, run the ropes, and tell a story without a single word. He helped her merge her deep knowledge of BJJ with the psychology and power of pro wrestling. Dustin praised her work ethic, saying, "She's come off of modeling in California and things like that. She's doing a great job, but this is only the beginning for her." He saw the fire everyone else thought was out and made a prediction that would soon come true. Pretty soon, the whole world's going to be talking about Arissa LeBrock. She wasn't just training, she was being reforged. Her comeback was set, but no one, not even Dustin Rhodes, could have predicted what was about to happen. If you want to follow every step of this insane story, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because things are about to get wild. After months of grueling training, rebuilding her body and her spirit, the moment of truth finally came. The comeback started not under the bright lights of a major promotion, but in the heart of a small local venue. In March 2023, Arissa LeBrock made her official in-ring debut at a Rhodes Wrestling Academy showcase in Texas. It was an intimate setting, packed with passionate fans who know the grind it takes just to step through those ropes. When she walked out, the transformation was undeniable. She wasn't a model or a celebrity's daughter. She was a wrestler. Reports from that night described a performance that was a statement of intent. Competing in a handicap match, she showed a cold, focused intensity that felt a lot like her father's on-screen persona. Her style was called brutally efficient, a violent and seamless blend of BJJ grappling with pro wrestling power. When her arm was raised, she had finally stepped out of her parents' shadows and into the ring on her own terms. The waves from that showcase spread fast. Arissa LeBrock was no longer a prospect, she was a performer. And that brought us to the night of August 12, 2025, Monday Night Raw. The WWE Universe was watching a match featuring the established star Victoria Blackwood. Then it happened. A new, unfamiliar theme song hit the speakers. The commentators were stunned silent for a second, scrambling to figure out what was going on. Out from the entrance ramp walked Arissa LeBrock. She didn't move with the nervous energy of a rookie, but with the calm, deliberate grace of a predator. She slid into the ring, and the look on Victoria Blackwood's face shifted from confusion to indignation. This wasn't a scheduled match. This was an invasion. What happened next wasn't a traditional WWE debut. It was a martial arts clinic. It was a masterful display of dominance that left the entire arena buzzing. She didn't use flashy, high-flying moves. Instead, she unleashed a terrifying and beautiful mix of her martial arts roots. There were judo-style throws that used her opponent's own momentum against them. There were precise, hard-hitting strikes influenced by Aikido and Muay Thai. On the mat, her transitions were fluid and deadly as she moved from dominant positions to submission attempts, putting her high-level BJJ skills on full display. She dismantled her opponent. There's no other word for it. It was a showcase of intelligent brute force, a thinking person's brawler who picked her shots and methodically took her opponent apart. The assault ended decisively, with Arissa standing tall. The crowd went from stunned silence to an eruption. History was made. The daughter of Steven Seagal had arrived, and she had just put the entire locker room on notice. In the moments after Arissa LeBrock's debut, the air was thick with shock and speculation. The commentary team, caught completely off guard, struggled to describe the unique and dominant force they'd just seen. They made immediate and earned comparisons to other game-changers like Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair, competitors who brought a new level of legitimacy and intensity to the division. Fan reaction was instant and electric. While a few online critics found things to nitpick, most fans praised her undeniable work ethic, her unique style, and her incredible potential. The hashtag #ArissaLeBrock blew up, with people replaying clips of her judo throws and BJJ-inspired grappling. The debate was on. Had WWE just unleashed its most credible and dangerous superstar in a generation? But the biggest impact was the one felt behind the curtain. Her debut was a message. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement. By taking apart an established star with a style that looked so different, so real, she immediately positioned herself as an apex predator. The game had changed. The standard moves and sequences other wrestlers relied on might not work on someone with her skill set. She brought a level of unpredictable danger the women's division hadn't seen in years. This wasn't just another debut. It was the end of one chapter for the WWE Women's Division and the fiery, violent beginning of a new one. Arissa LeBrock's story proves that a legacy isn't just something you're given, it's something you build with your own two hands. She was born into Hollywood royalty but chose the grind of the wrestling ring. She faced a career-ending injury that would have made most people quit, and she simply refused to be beaten. Guided by a wrestling legend, she rebuilt herself from scratch, trading a life of comfort for the sweat and sacrifice of the mat. Her debut on Monday Night Raw was the powerful payoff for that entire journey, a testament to her resilience. She's proven that she isn't in wrestling to be famous. She was already famous. She's here because she chose the hard road, overcoming a devastating injury and the weight of her family name to earn her spot. She didn't just accept the legacy she was handed. She's redefining it with her own grit and skill. She has taken the fighting spirit her father represents and translated it for a new generation in a whole new arena. This journey is far from over. In fact, it's just getting started. The question is no longer if she'll make it to the top. The question is, who's brave enough to try and stop her? A new era of dominance may have just begun. Who should be her first major feud? Can anyone in WWE stop this blend of martial arts and raw power? Is a championship just a matter of time? Drop your dream matches for Arissa LeBrock in the comments below. Let me know what you think her future holds. And if you haven't already, subscribe and ring that notification bell, because you will not want to miss what comes next in the shocking and brutal rise of wrestling's most dangerous new force.